Hello everyone, welcome to the Watch Poplars. Today I'm going to be repotting my pear. This pear might be the invasive kind, the Bradford pear, or it could be the semi-evergreen pear, Pyrus Kamasaki something, I don't know. Um, they're both native to Eastern Asia, but this, I don't know, I'll keep it. I'm gonna keep it until I figure out what kind of pear it is. So I had these rocks on here, because there's roots from this pear growing along the soil. So by removing this, it's the dominant plant in this tray. So I'm gonna have to remove. I have a poppy that's trying to start its second year, even though it's an annual. I have a cinquefoil, and I have some aquilegias sprouting here. These are aquilegias, and they're very nice. There are a lot of them sprouting. So I'm gonna keep all of them because they're really, really pretty. I love aquilegias. Oh, there's another ranunculus cinquefoil. They have very big root systems. Yeah, but I'll show you them. So I'll be potting up a lot of accent plants as well. Wow, I paused the footage. I pruned up my lawn. This is the only lawn in our property, and it's right here. And I just used my bonsai scissors. And if this is the Bradford pear, I'm going to plant it in this lawn. Wait, no. I have a much better alternative to this. And I'm not just talking about alternatives to lawns as in like native plants or those alternatives. I'm talking about this kind of alternative. Here is the only remaining Irish moss, the Irish star moss that I have. It is this right here. And there's one here as well, and one here. This is my box elder maple. This is the only one that has these plants, and they can form quite thick masses. So I think a lawn would be an accent plant. If I was just playing my Bradford pear at a show, I would have this tray, and kind of this very, very thin and small pot. I think it would be either a square, because most lawns are like kind of square. I'm thinking of like hardcore lawn culture. If this is a Bradford pear, I'm trying to represent society. I am not using my genuine feelings about lawns. I'm not using any support because I have none for lawns. However, I was just thinking that if I could create a diorama about society's horticultural mishaps, then I could probably pull it off with the Bradford pear and a lawn displayed beside it, using Irish star moss, because I don't want to plant it. I don't want to plant the pear in an area that I'm going to have a lot of Irish star moss, because it's going to form a thick layer, and it's going to cause watering problems because it forms this very, very thick mat and potentially slows down the ability for the water to kind of percolate into the soil. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just remove these little plants here because they're gonna get disturbed. Okay, Wow, this is a start. That's a good root on an Aquilegia. I don't know what species of Aquilegia it is, but they're native to Europe, I think, these ones. However, there are native Aquilegias, I believe. Yeah, and I should get those first. I don't know why we always keep the non-native ones, but someday that's going to be what the diorama for this will represent. Okay, gotta carefully get it out. This little delicate herbaceous perennial only blooms in April. I wish they would bloom longer, and probably means I'd have to prune them back. We have Aquilegias in one of the barrels. It's where all these seedlings came from, and they just sprouted here on their own. So there's one, and I should get a little container of water. You know what? This is invasive. This is well, maybe I can keep it in here. I don't know. If I keep it in here, I'm never gonna let it flower. I can't guarantee, because I'm gonna do a lot of like summer internships, and they may require me to stay out of town for over a week. So, but during that time, none of the pruning will happen. My parents will just take care of them. However, I don't want this to flower, because this is invasive, and it's an ingredient in lawns. This is Kentucky bluegrass, and I don't want it spreading, even though there's so much of it here. It's here, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. But so it probably really doesn't matter at this point. I just gotta clear it out some other time with my hands, which I like doing. But anyway, I am getting severely sidetracked. I've got a cup of rainwater with fermented leaves in it. That's why it's so orange. And just set it on the ground somewhere flat and put the Aquilegias in it. And while they're in there, the soil will probably just fall away from the roots. I don't know, I'll try to keep this one in there for just a few other months. Okay, so I think this is not the most important part, so I'm gonna just come back when I'm done removing these little weeds, plants. I think it was impossible to keep this in here. So I'm just gonna pot it up as is. It didn't grow that many roots. And one of them looks like it's kind of growing, but it's not. It just has a white tip, I don't know. So I'll put that in the cup as well. Alright, and now this should be much easier to get out. Well, the cinquefoil is not going to come out on its own. I have to remove this pear first. So that's what I'll do. And I don't want to do this because that's going to be a bit too messy. I don't want to completely dislodge everything. I'm not going to try removing the poppy yet. I'm worried if I touch it, if I transplant it somewhere, it's going to die. I want to see if it survives another year. I've never seen poppies do this before. Usually they die. Like, they don't last into the next year. So I'm going to just leave that one, and I'm going to use a different tray. Unless that tray has no holes in it. Oh, it has a few. I think I poked the holes in them. I could use my legume tray for the oaks. Oh, I see some nice radial roots on these. That's very nice. I'm gonna just bring the bucket of water right here. This tree is falling apart. There's a big crack in it. I don't know how far it goes. I'm not gonna try finding out by reaching under because I'm probably gonna make it bigger. How many of these are from the pear? That looks like it's from the pear. Oh, a seedling. What is that? A big reddish brown seed. I'm gonna plant it. Where? Hopefully I didn't damage the root skin, but I'm gonna plant it right here. All right. Can I block the light? I think that makes it easier. Okay. It's almost ready to come out. Oh, wow. Oh. So that's a lot of roots. I mean, it had a lot more top growth, but I pruned it. So there's two big roots that just went crazy. And so yeah, I'm gonna wash this. I just found my coyote bush cutting. However, this is a miniature kind. This is not the kind that grows very tall. This is the kind that grows slower. And I don't want it because there are lots of other seedlings of coyote bush here. Now you can see those galls. Those are galls from there's a boring insect that doesn't harm the plant. But there's so many of this stuff. It's so much, it's so common here. Okay, so I think I'm gonna just prune. These roots are so chaotic, they don't even fit in the tray. So I'm gonna just prune them roughly first, like that, so that they fit. And then I will do the root work. So, and now, see, I have a big root going straight down. I'm going to completely remove that. Prune this root flat. probably do remember doing some root work to this. I can see some, I feel like I remember it being very severe. Because based on what I can see, yeah, I must have done some very severe root work. And I guess this is another round of severe root work. So I'm just pruning the bottom flat, but I'm also cutting these roots kind of at an angle. Now, there's some roots that kind of go in weird directions, but not many. I think I corrected most of them. This root goes upward, goes like that, and I don't want to keep that, so that gets cut away. I want the flow into the roots, and flow into the soil, and not go up like these. Those are not attractive. There's better roots below that I can use. Now there's this root goes flat. It's very strange. I'm gonna prune this side of the root system. Okay, wait, hold on. First, there's this root that cranks to the side right here. It's not going radial. So I prune that. And I'm gonna prune more on this side because I'm trying to make this flare out equally. Because this part's very flared out. It had a big root going this direction. So I think I'm gonna prune this root a little bit harder, keeping that tiny root at the tip. Now, this root can be pruned a bit more. There. Now there's this root. It does not go in a nice direction. It was coming from under the roots. So that's another very severe root reduction. This may cause the leaves to fall off. But here it is. There's the cuts I made, and it's looking more radial. So I think that I'm not going to do anymore, and I'm going to plant it now. I do not need to prune the top because the top is looking fine. I feel bad giving this up, so I feel like I want to keep it because this has such nice movement. It looks so nice, and I feel like I'm gonna start watching out along the trunk because it's starting to thicken up. It's starting to maintain the same thickness. Maybe should it be a little bit more skinnier on here than here, which it is, but I'm just gonna watch out so that I don't have too many branches coming in from one spot, which I probably do here have. So maybe I can look out. I could possibly do pruning. I'll come back when I am decided. I don't know, something's telling me I could prune off this part here, and it is a bit of a difficult decision. So I want to keep this bud because it's on the outward of a curve. There is a curve. It goes like this, right there, and there's a bud on the outside, so that's great. Now, on the outside of this curve, there's a bud right here, and I want to keep that. So, but this one, it's too sideways, too lateral, so I would hopefully have that like go up a little bit more like this, but the way I pruned it is not letting me do that. There are no leaves at a good length that have a bud that goes upward, so it would look too twisty because of that. And I don't know, it's a bit confusing. Well, I know I certainly have settled on a front for the root base. I think because back here it's not as attractive, but here on the other side it's looking quite better, and a bit better than the other side. So maybe somewhere here. Now the leader, this is the front here. So the leader would be better to come forward. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna plant it as it is, and because I can't come up with a decision right now. I'm just deciding on a good container for it. I'm gonna use this container. It seems fine. Now, I still don't think I have enough soil. I mean, preferably, I should have this kind of good soil all the way up to, like, it should be heaping, ideally. This good granular soil that I made yesterday. I don't know. Found more of that Irish moss, so I'll plant that. I'm now gonna see how much easier it is to work the soil into the roots with this soil. I think it will be easier. I just hope that it doesn't dry out too fast. I don't think it should dry out very fast because there's so much normal soil in here. But now I'll try to position you in a good note. I think it's working a bit better. The good thing is it's harder to pack down the soil and press it down because the pieces are solid and they don't kind of warp under pressure, which makes this also a lot easier. Plus, they actually get in between the roots. These trees, if I had potted it in normal, like just potting soil, I don't think this would work as well. I think it would these would just slide right past the soil grains. So it's a bit firm. I'm just slightly wiggling it. I'm just seeing if there's because there's not much roots in here, so I don't think it would be easy for this to kind of firm up, but I'm just trying, seeing if it helps. Maybe I can close these. I'll come back. So I have watered it, and I am going to repot these off camera and show you how they do and further updates. So it's good to see the water's not pooling off, and it's also good to see that the water is not just completely flowing out, because these particles of soil don't absorb water. These larger grains. In real bonsai soil, most of the grains of bonsai soil absorb water. You can add safety absorb, you can add turfus and little tiny pieces of bark, but they're, I'm not talking about like ground up fibers that are ground to like a powder. No, I'm just. But these, I'm because I'm not always here. I have to have some potting soil in here so that it holds a little bit more moisture. So I am excited to see how this develops this year. It has a lot of potential with all that movement, and at front, I'm still not 100% confident about where the front is, but yeah. It's unfortunate it didn't get fall colors this year. It should have gotten fall colors like a month ago. But I don't know how or what happened this winter, but they happened very late. So I will put this with the Rosaceae section. So there it is. And that is all for today. Thanks for joining me here among the watch poplars.